Hey guys, how are you? So I just wanted to do a quick commentary about freelancing, becoming an entrepreneur, becoming your own boss. There has been a huge growing trend since 2006. I saw a piece of data from 2006. I think in US there were 7 million freelancers. By 2020, I think there's supposed to be 42 million independent contractor freelancers. That includes, of course, software developers, web designers, WordPress professionals, what I call web professionals. Check out my previous video about that. And of course, any other type of freelancer. Could be camera guy, could be whatever, what have you. So why is there this growing trend towards being an independent contractor and freelancer? I think it's because of the old contract, the old expectation between employee and employer has been broken over the years, in that people started seeing where businesses would lay off people if it suited their purposes. Whereas in the 50s and 60s, to a certain extent to the 70s, there was a culture, at least in the West, where once you got hired into a company, you stayed there your whole life and you got a nice pension, blah, 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 blah. But then people started getting the short end of the stick from large corporations, so they started saying to themselves, oh, maybe I should be independent. And this led to other types of thinking, where people started considering the idea that maybe instead of having to adhere to a lifestyle and a set of parameters, a work schedule, as dictated by the man, by some large corporation, by HR departments, perhaps you could create your own life. Perhaps you can create your own set of circumstances and rules. Maybe your rules is not to have any rules. So for me, if you know my background, I haven't had a job working for somebody since I was, I guess, about 18 years old. My last job, I was a bouncer. So probably my last week working for somebody, I was throwing people out of a nightclub. So the whole idea of working for somebody is very alien to me, considering last time I had a job, I was 18 years old, and give them 298 years old. That was a long time ago, at least 20 years ago. So I can tell you that one of the huge advantages of being your own boss, of being the freelancer, of having your own business, is the choice, is the freedom. As I've mentioned in other videos, one of the things I love to do, one of my secret pleasures, is the ability to fire clients. Love firing clients, because one of the companies I used to do business with in the early 90s with my first company, which was an import-export company, and they were a frozen food, I guess I'll call them manufacturer. They would go into the ocean and grab all kinds of shrimp and freeze them up and sell them, and then it was a very, very popular line of frozen food used in the pet industry. So I got my company, we got the exclusive rights to that line of frozen foods for the province up here in Quebec. And this was highly, oh geez, I wonder what that is. I'll get back to you in a second. So my company got the distribution rights for this frozen food line. And even though we were a small company, and I spoke to the president of that company, and he knew that a very large company in Quebec wanted the rights to that. And he knew that they were going to buy a significant amount of the product from us. And the reason he did not give the distribution to that company, that larger company, the owner told me, he said, I didn't go into business to have to deal with people I didn't like. And that was a very interesting statement to me, because it taught me something about business. One of the main reasons of going into business for yourself is that you have the ability, especially once you're established, you have the ability to pick and choose with whom you deal with, whether people that you hire, people you do business with, clients, etc. That's why one of the things I teach in my freelance course, and I also talk about in my entrepreneur course, you're much better off with many small clients as opposed to a few big clients. One of the beginner's mistakes in business that people make is they have this dream of dealing with the big client. That is the worst thing you could possibly have as a business owner. You want to have many, 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 many small clients. Why? Because when you have many small clients, they have no power, no leverage over you. And if you fire them it doesn't have any impact in terms of your bottom line, or hardly noticeable impact. So what does that mean? I'll give you an example. Let's say you have 2 big clients, and roughly each client is worth half of your income for the year. Now, what will happen is that you will build up an infrastructure and a workflow to satisfy these 2 big clients, and there's a cost to that. And then what happens is that you become very dependent on each of these 2 big clients. If one of these big clients should leave you and you lose half your income, that hurts really hard, especially if you have an infrastructure in place. You have employees or rent to pay or leases to pay based on satisfying the requirements of these big clients. The big clients will likely know and smell that you're dependent on them. And as a result, they're going to start throwing their weight around. Not all the time, but many of the times. I've seen it firsthand, and it's been attempted on me in the past. On the other hand, if you have, let's say, 30 small clients, where each client is worth, 2-3% of your income, something like that, 4% depending how you look at it, meaning these small clients are inconsequential of themselves. Let's say, I'll use round numbers. Let's say you have 10 clients, and each of these clients are worth 10% of your work. One of these clients starts giving you lip, starts bothering you. If you lose them, you only lose 10% of your business. Insignificant, right? Not important. So the fact that you have 10 other clients, 9 other clients, if you get rid of that 10th client because they're jerks and they're giving you headaches, it's not a big deal. Boop. You say, can't work together, sorry, bye-bye. Or as we say up here in Quebec, salut. So that is one of the huge advantages of being self-employed, being a freelancer, having your own business, is the ability to choose with whom and with whom you work, who you deal with. This is big. Another big advantage of being a freelancer is you get to choose exactly the type of work that you want to do. So what I do is I essentially just hire people to do the stuff I don't want to do. And I specifically try to find people who are better at those things in particular. Another big advantage of being on your own is that you can choose when you work, what time of the day, what days, whether you're going to work on Monday or Tuesday or not, whether you're going to work in the mornings, the afternoons, at night, etc., etc., etc. There's just so many huge advantages in terms of personal freedoms that comes with being your own business owner. Now, this doesn't come at no cost. There is a cost to being you're self-employed, being a freelancer. And the cost is, in the beginning, is some rough spots. As you figure out your workflows, as you establish your client base, as you develop your skills as a freelancer, as an entrepreneur, there's going to be some rough points. There's no question about it. You got to learn these things. That's, again, I put out my entrepreneur course, freelance course, to help save you guys years and to smooth everything out for you. Once you get past that initial stage where you're just establishing the mechanism, the system that is your business, whatever type of business it happens to be, then it becomes much, much, much easier. The last thing I'm going to mention about being your own boss, being a freelancer, self-employed, is that you have huge tax advantages typically. You have huge tax advantages. So depending on where you live, it's going to be a little bit different here and there. But essentially, most governments will put into place laws and a tax system that benefits, that encourages small business development. And this is important because small business employs about 80% of the population. So if you go into small business, there is some high risk and there is some problems initially, but I think most of these problems could be resolved if you just have a proper system in place. That being said, there is huge tax advantages that the governments do provide to make it easier for you to get up and running. And that's the payoff. That's the payoff. And so, for example, let's say you're a software developer. The cost of your computers, the cost of your high-speed internet, possibly the cost of your smartphones, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anything, any piece of equipment, any services that is related to your business can be deducted off of the income that you earn. So I'm not going to get into details here. My course is below. We'll teach you all that. But anyway, the point is that there's just huge tax advantages. that make it easier for you to build your business and to start your business and to grow your business. And that's pretty much it. So I just wanted to do a quick commentary on the growth of the freelancer, the growth of the self-employed individual. It's remarkable to me because when I was doing this back in the day, when I was 18, 19 years old with my first business, even into my mid-20s and late 20s, I hardly met anybody my age who was in business. Most people at that time, most people who started businesses started in their early 30s. By the time I was in my 30s, I was pretty much, I was there already. So it was interesting to see now at this time how the whole game has shifted, where a lot of younger people are realizing the huge advantages, and I just named a few of them, of having your own business versus working for somebody. That being said, it's not easy at first, so you have to have the wherewithal and the game plan to be able to execute on it, but it's very doable. Let me close with this. I think it's almost inevitable that a business will be successful if you have a good game plan and you manage your funds. The only thing that drives a business out of business is lack of money. So money management skills is a huge part of building a business. But anyway, I won't go down this rabbit hole anymore. That's it for today. Bye-bye.